Finally, say start. As a son of Punjab and a child of partition, I deem it a special privilege that I am here to deliver the Bhimsen Sachar Memorial Lecture. Bhimsen Sachar was a great Indian, a great freedom fighter, a nationalist to the core, a nation builder, a man of letters and learning. His statesmanship and genial personality helped heal the wounds of partisan in a strife-torn Punjab. Our nation was fortunate to have, at the time of its birth, a generation of wise and compassionate leaders who calmed many political storms. Bhimsen Sachar was one of them. Physically diminutive, he was intellectually and morally a tall leader, a larger than life personality. The people of Punjab will forever remember him for his courage and simplicity, his warmth and grace when in office. Bhimsen Sachar was not only a chief minister and leader of the Punjab, but he was also a national leader. Though he devoted his life to the freedom, welfare, and well being of the people of Punjab, he was equally devoted to the building of a new India through constructive program. He played a very important role in the reconstruction and development of Punjab after the devastation brought about by the partition in 1947. He had a deep and abiding concern for the protection of fundamental human rights enshrined in our constitution. Bhimsen Sachar was, like many leaders of his generation, a person deeply rooted in his own region, but who was an Indian first and Indian last. This too was one of the great legacies of our national freedom movement. Each of our national leaders had a sub-national political personality. They belonged to a region. They identified themselves with one or another section of our society. They engaged in the local politics of their province or town. Yet they were all national leaders with unquestionable national commitment. Rajaji was as engaged in the political life of the Madras presidency as he was in national politics. Pratibha Sitaramaiah was as engaged in the politics of the Andhra region as he was in national politics. Sardar Patel was as involved in the political life of the then Bombay presidency as he was in national life. Each of our national leaders derived pride from their knowledge of both their mother tongue and of the English language. Many of them were multilingual, speaking English, Urdu, Hindustani, Bengali, Punjabi, Tamil, and so on. They were truly secular even as they remained deeply religious. They were truly nationalist even as they valued their international outlook. They valued the nationalism of the Indian people. They valued the internationalism of our national politics. They valued modernity and the fruits of modern science and technology. Our nation was fortunate to have had such a modern, progressive, plural, and liberal social and political leadership. It was not as if their views were not challenged. They indeed were, by forces on the right and the left, by religious extremists and regional chauvinists, by those who valued their religious, caste, ethnic, linguistic, or other identity more than their national identity. It is to the good fortune of our nation that the people of India rejected such sectarian and extremist political platforms and extended their overwhelming support to the civilizational idea of India. The wisdom of our people encouraged sectarian, separatist, and extremist political groups to embrace a national consensual agenda over time. Movements that rejected the idea of India have become a part of the national mainstream. And so we have built a modern nation on the foundations of an ancient civilization. This was the project that Bhimsen Sachar devoted his life to, like so many of our national leaders' stuff.